You're listening to Redvolution Rampage. I'm Omar.
I'm Zach.
Amanda.
And today we will go over the last couple of weeks of Canes hockey.
We missed a lot.
Right? And really a resurgence of sorts to get back into the conversation.
Well, we've been back in the conversation for a while, but now we're just starting to punch a hole in it.
Yes. We'll also talk about minor league hockeys around Carolina, to include the Checkers, the Marksmen,
T-Birds.
and the T-Birds, yeah. We'll also talk about the NWHL. Amanda was our liaison over in their All-Star game in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
She got to meet PK Subban. That actually happened.
Yep.
You aren't dreaming. That actually did happen.
She still hasn't stopped talking about it.
Right?
Whatever.
And we had a guest today, Michelle Bench, from the local Raleigh women's hockey
House League.
That's what I'm calling it.
Trailblazers.
The Trailblazers.
The Carolina Trailblazers.
She sat with us earlier today and we discussed with her kind of how much that women's hockey is important to the region and where it's going. So
And it's
stay
going
tuned
places.
for that towards the end of our episode today. And am I missing anything, fellas? Ladies?
Let's get going.
No, I don't think so.
All right, more after this. Hurricanes hockey. I'll start with that because that's probably the most exciting stretch of hockey that we've watched in a while. Because ever since coming back from the All-Star break, they have been on a rampage of sorts.
Ooh,
Since
good.
the new
there
year,
you go. Good plug, yeah.
Since the new year, they're tied for the best record in the NHL. Since
Right.
the new year.
And if you look at before New Year's Eve and then after New Year's Eve as two different hockey teams, it's incredible what the difference is. It's night and day. You're talking about a 2.8 goals per game versus a 3.8, 3.9, almost 4 goals per game average coming into tonight's game against the Dallas Stars.
And you know what really sparked all this? That Rask Nino trade.
I mean, the Rasnino trade didn't come till late January, but still, even before that, the Canes were crushing it. And I think it's all starting to click, right? All these kids are starting to figure it out. Robert Moore's training and coaching is really starting to truly click with them.
And
they're
they're not a two-line team anymore. For like half of the season, they were a two-line team. And now it's a four-line team.
Yes. Everyone's contributing. I think really started with McKegg coming up. Greg McKegg has been an outstanding player. I mean, he came up and immediately started scoring because nobody, took him into consideration. Now he is being taken into consideration. All 4 lines are being taken into consideration.
Yeah.
The McGinn line, the Walmart line, the Martinook line. Everyone is playing, to the walls here, trying to make sure that none of these, and every line can score on you. Every line on this Canes team can and will score on you.
And it's starting to scare people. I mean, if anybody's watched NHL Tonight on the NHL Network or any ESPN affiliate, they are saying that Carolina is possibly the hottest team in the NHL right now. They are the most fun team in the NHL right now. And it's starting to get to people. It's like not only the fun part, like we've always had the backlash over the Storm Surges, but we're over that now. If they're going to hate on us, we don't care. We're going to have fun.
I mean, these Storm Surges are getting really, really good. I mean, last night
Baseball.
they knocked it out of the park.
Literally.
Ba-dum-bum.
And then you had the Mudcats and the Durham Bulls tweeting at the Hurricanes saying, hey, can you sign your players to an off-season contract?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But
I like the bat flip. I mean,
the Jose Batista bat flip.
Yeah, Fogel's been watching freaking the Toronto Blue Jays play.
Yep.
But it really is. The Canes are a terrifying team right now. And that's right now. Imagine if the Canes can pick up another top forward in the trade deadline, which is in a week and a half.
Right, and we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later here, especially with our conversation with Don Waddell last week.
Yeah, but right now, let's talk about 5 games on the road. We should have won all 5 of them. We got 4, though, and that's way better than anybody expected us to do.
Absolutely.
Right, we got 4 out of 5, and I mean, not only did we just get 4 out of 5, then one loss, we lost by only 1 goal.
Controversially, 1 goal.
Controversially, 1 goal. I would say
really?
that should have been a tight game. Add on to the fact that we shut out Pittsburgh and the New York Rangers in their barns.
No. You're forgetting something there. It was the first time we beat the Rangers inside Madison Square Garden since
There's
2010. That is ridiculously long time.
It is. They've had our number for a while, but I think
But right now we're 2 games to 1 on them this season.
we are. And I think we still have one more game against them, and that's actually coming
at
up.
home.
It's
Tuesday,
Tuesday
yeah.
here. So, we can really take 3 out of 4 from them.
Win the series. That's all we need to do right now is we've played almost every team at least once, except for Dallas.
Right, because we got Dallas tonight and as well as next Saturday night, but we're going to them.
Yeah, but that's literally all it is right now. If you look back, if the Canes just keep on winning, if you look back, they've won almost every season series they've had with every team except for Calgary. But if you look back, they've won almost every season series against an Eastern Conference opponent. If they continue that, I predict not only will they make the playoffs, but they will possibly be the second place team in the division.
I agree with you there. I think there's a good chance for them taking second place. I think there's a good chance.
Them passing the Islanders might be a bit of a stretch.
Hey, we're only 8 points behind.
That's what I'm saying, though. It might be a bit of a stretch, but it all
It's
depends
not
on what
unrealistic.
happens.
It's not unrealistic. It's not
could
like
happen.
Montreal trying to catch up to the Lightning. I mean, that's unrealistic.
But right now, it looks really promising with the playoffs right now. And I know we're all saying the P word a lot.
Well,
but
good.
it's-
We should.
Yeah.
But it's the first time in years that we have been this late in a season and we're actually in a playoff position where we're not playing catch up.
Well, we technically are playing
We're
catch up.
technically playing catch up, but guess what? 1 point against teams that we still have to play doesn't mean squat.
Well, no, it does because they have games on hand on us, and that's what's worrying me. Another thing that's worrying me. I'm going to be a negative Nancy here for a quick second, but bear with me. After tonight's back-to-back, they still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more back-to-backs, and all of them are a home and away split. So,
But we still have way more home games than we do away
actually,
games.
never mind. There's one. Not all of them are home and away. There's one home and home where it's Minnesota and Montreal back to back. But a lot of the teams that we're chasing are the teams we're playing. Right? We got
Pittsburgh, Columbus, Washington, Montreal.
So we got Boston, Columbus. We got a game against Boston left. We got a game against Columbus. We still got a game against Buffalo. Another game against Pittsburgh, Montreal. We've got another game. We got 2 games left against Washington, and then another game against Pittsburgh before we close out the season.
But here's the thing, though. That's
Against
the
2
major
easy
thing with the
teams.
trade deadline is a lot of things can change. Columbus right now is a wreck. Everybody thinks that Panarin and Bobrovsky can both be dealt at the trade deadline. And if that
would
does
they do?
happen,
I don't think they
if
will.
that does,
I think they're going to keep them as their internal
loan.
rentals. These are internal rentals, and same thing we should be doing with Michael Verland.
Sign him, please.
We'll see about signing him, but at least keep him for the playoffs. He's that kind of influence.
Well, a lot of people are now saying that Toronto and a few other teams are going to go after Brett Pesce. And I do not see that happening. Unless they offer us not only a top forward, but something worth our while, that's not happening.
Look, there's nothing that Toronto can offer for us for Brett Pesce that doesn't completely cripple them.
That's the point. That's why a lot of people are up in arms, especially with the Edmonton Philly trade with Cam Talbot sending possibly the Flyers' best young goalie, the Edmonton. That's going to hurt them in the long
Edmonton's
run.
making moves too. Edmonton they dealt out Ryan Spooner this morning.
They're still possibly in the playoffs. Everybody thinks they're dead. They possibly can still make the playoffs.
That's only because the West is such a hot garbage fire.
Yeah, but guess what? Usually that's the other way around. Usually the West is the one where it has all the gaps, and then the East is the hot garbage fire.
There's a reason the Blues are sitting third place in their division. If the Carolina Hurricanes were in the West, it doesn't matter which
they
division.
would be fifth, I think.
No, it doesn't matter which division. No, they would be third. They would be third in either division. They would be sitting third place in either division with the points they have now.
I was saying fifth in the whole conference, but it's
Fourth,
still
fourth in the whole conference.
It's still amazing to see how much these conferences have changed in one offseason. Last year, the West was the undeniable ruler of the NHL. And then you turn around and look at Tampa.
So the only reason I say they would be fourth is because they have games on hand on Vegas.
It's going to be interesting. With the games coming up, and especially tonight, it'll be a really good dipstick of what's going to happen in the near future. If the Canes can keep these strings of victory heading into the trade deadline, possibly make one deal to get a forward, and that's it. Don't trade it. Don't give away any defensemen. Give away a draft pick or some prospects. Do not trade a defenseman. Get a forward.
No,
They're still talking about trading Falk, too. Though.
I'd say, no, I have no issues with trading defensemen. And the reason is that we've got so many on the wings waiting to come up and be awesome.
I would say just pick up one forward. That's enough. And then you're on for the rest of the season.
No, I agree. And who that is, there's so many opportunities and options for
Everybody
us.
was saying Tarasenko, and now he's hurt.
Well, not only that, but the Blues are back in the game. The Blues are not going to deal Tarasenko, even if he is healthy, and they're sitting in third place. So
There's a lot of rumors around Florida, too, but I don't see them getting rid of any of their firepower.
I really don't want any of their firepower either.
Well, that's enough for the Canes right now. Let's go to Charlotte and check on the Checkers real quick. They're still good.
Yeah,
They're
They're
still
still
good.
very good.
They're still
Checks
good.
notes, they're good.
They're good.
I mean,
Yeah,
they had a little bit of a situation with Scott Darling where he is done for the year. He's
taking a
off.
leave of absence to figure himself out, and I 100% agree with the opportunity to do that. Anyone who has anything negative to say about that can meet me outside.
Yeah, we wish
Can
you well,
catch me
Scott.
outside. How about that?
We wish you well, Scott, and whatever
Absolutely.
you got to figure out, figure
But
it
he
out.
does need to figure something out, right? He needs to, and I think psychology is a huge part of sports, and that a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Especially a lot of us in the analytics world, we tend to, because it's not controllable, it's not something we can measure. We tend to just ignore it because it's not a number, right? When we love our numbers, we enjoy our.
And that's
ability
why
to
I
calculate
love
and see who's the best at everything. So him taking that leave of absence, I think, is the best thing for him.
Yeah.
I think the Canes should probably invest more into sports psychology and having those kind of personnel on hand. That's the guy who goes and talks to Niederreiter after he gets up from being hit and hunts down an Oiler and smashes him into the boards.
I still say that was a
obliterating
clean
him.
hit.
It really wasn't, though. It wasn't a clean
But
hit.
yeah, we
Miss me
wish
with that.
No
Scott
way.
all the best,
Absolutely.
and we'll see where he goes in the future. But the Charlotte Checkers have to move on. They brought back Colin Booth. They have him with Ned. The team in general is just good. They're currently 73 points, 8 points clear of first place in the AHL.
In the entire league.
In the entire league. That is how good our farm system is right now.
And a lot of that credit goes to Coach Vellucci, of course.
Oh, a lot of that credit does. And a lot of the credit also goes to the fans that consistently show up. They may not have like the biggest crowd, but they have a consistent crowd.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're winning consistently and making the playoffs.
What?
AKA what the Hurricanes are turning into.
You don't say.
No. That's the thing. So that's what blows my mind, right? Everyone's like beating the dead horse that is the attendance joke. But honestly,
The
Canes have had.
The
I don't
Canes
know
are
what
up to
attendance has gone
25th.
up.
The Canes are up to 25th in league attendance.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
I
still
have
higher than
seen
the
it.
Islanders.
I've seen it personally. The crowds are just getting bigger and bigger. and I think that's great. And
last
I
night
think the
was
storm surge has to do with
15,000?
that. The winning has to do with it, and
I think the winning more than the storm surge, but those come hand in hand.
yeah, I mean, but
Well, when you
that
improve
has-
the product, it helps. It all
yeah,
does.
and I think the storm surge has brought more attention to the Canes, and people are really liking that.
maybe more off-season acquisitions. People just want to do the storm surge. You're like, okay, we'll sign.
Yeah, I mean, people were saying, the opposing teams' fans are staying around to see the storm surge.
That's one interesting thing that actually is happening. People are staying around no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's one Southern team down. Let's move on to the CPHL with the Fayetteville Marksmen. I mean, they're doing all right. They're doing a lot of 50-50 wins right now, win-loss, win-loss. They're currently they're currently sitting in 6th place with 43 points. They're 19, 14, and 5. They're 5 points away from 3rd place in the league, though. So their season is nowhere near done. The fans are always coming out. It's a fun product. Me and Omar were there not too long ago. We were planning to go back very soon.
Yeah, we went to their blackout game, which I think was an amazing concept. Everyone was encouraged to wear black. We wore Canes black jerseys. A bunch of us showed up.
They don't care if you wear Kane stuff. Just come to the game.
Yeah, I mean, come to the game, enjoy some small town hockey.
It's cheap.
It is very cheap. Crown Coliseum, there is not a bad seat in that place at all.
A ton of parking.
It's very open. Parking is free.
Go out and tailgate. We were out there tailgating, and people were giving us looks like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, so
It's the SPHL, right?
the Southern Professional
SPHL.
Hockey League.
Yeah,
It's not
he
associated
keeps saying
with
CP.
yeah, the SPHL. So,
SPHL.
yes.
But yeah, Fayetteville, they're nowhere out of. They're no way out of it. They still have a lot of games left. They still have time to make it into the playoffs. It's just a matter of we'll see, and they got to keep it going.
Yeah, and in that league, most of the teams make the playoffs anyways. So
Where is the SPHL as far as
Pretty much the entire South. It's
No, I just mean like
it falls
you have
underneath the
NHL,
ECHL.
AHL,
So it does
ECHL.
not. So SPHL don't have
They're not-
affiliations with the NHL teams the way the AHL
Right.
and ECHL do. However, players from the SPHL do move up into the ECHL.
Okay.
And did you know there's only one player in the entire SPHL history to make the NHL? Do you know who it is?
I don't.
Scott Darling.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you just said it.
I was gonna know because I thought I
He did not
remember.
play for the Marksmen, but he still made it.
Yeah,
No, he didn't
I
play for the
remember
Marksmen,
his
but-
bio when he first came in, and I remember him talking about playing for like Southern teams and then going up.
Right. So yeah. So he's one of the only players to make his way from the SPHL to the ECHL, picked up on a contract by an NHL team, move up to the AHL, and back up to the NHL. Now he's back down to the AHL. He's trying to figure himself out. But if this man can build his way up all the way from some of the lowest leagues in the nation to the NHL, his future shouldn't. He'll figure himself back up. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a Stanley Cup. He's got a ring. The man has achieved the dream as it is already. A lot of people like to give him crap, but he's got
the
a championship.
Talent. He's got the talent. He can do
But
it.
a North Carolina team hunting for a championship right now is the Carolina Thunderbirds out in Winston-Salem. They're hunting for that Federal Hockey League title, and they are.
How many games have they lost?
They have lost 5 games. They have won. They are currently 34-4-1, and in their league, a win counts as 3 points. They have 104 points.
Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. That's a lot of.
Nobody's touching them, and I would highly encourage people go out there. It's the Winston-Salem Annex out there. It's right next to Wake Forest University. Go check them out. It's great. And if you're not going to go up there for the Thunderbirds, go up there right now. I mean, literally right now for the ACC Hockey League tournament.
So, move the podcast over to your car, get in it, and start driving.
Right.
Literally, do it now. Because right now it's the semifinals. I believe NC State is playing Wake Forest right now. And then later, I believe it's Georgetown versus Virginia. And then the championship is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If you're not able to go, I believe Pac TV is going to be hosting if NC State makes it. If not, it'll be live on YouTube by the Carolina Thunderbirds. And I will be there covering it as the official media of Revolution Rampage. It'll be our first time being officially recognized as media for the podcast.
Yay, us.
People, I tried to drag these two out there too, but they're busy.
We're busy being adults. It's hard work.
I know.
But in
Adulting
seriousness,
But there's so much hockey going on right now.
There
It's
is a
ridiculous.
lot of hockey
If
in
you
this
do
state.
not have any idea that hockey's going on, you are under a rock in this state. Like,
well,
yes,
there's a lot of people under rock, so it's our job to enlighten them, to lift them from the darkened worlds and bring them into the light.
I mean, the common misconception is, oh, all we care about is basketball right now. Are you kidding me? There's so much going on right
There's
now,
more
more than
hockey
basketball.
being played in this state than basketball.
But everybody's still going to say, oh, but the All-Star game for NBA is in Charlotte. That's only one day. NHL, AHL, CPHL, SPHL.
SPHL.
Why do I keep doing that?
I don't know.
SPHL, FHL. Those seasons still
Central
have...
Professional Hockey League.
These seasons still have a month or two still on them, plus playoffs. You have no excuse not to just say, I'm going to check this out. It'll only cost me $10. Mm-hmm. That's if you go to the lower ones. If you go to the Canes, it'll cost you up to 40.
So, yeah, so you got a lot of cheap hockey in the state. Go to it. Enjoy it. Tell your friends and family. Drag them out there kicking and screaming until they love the sport. Do it.
Help us outnumber the Pittsburgh fans when they come back.
Seriously.
Oh, God.
But honestly, so it's a great sport. It's the opportunities are out there. Not only are there opportunities for people to watch the games, there are opportunities for people to play, and we'll discuss that a little bit later with our guest. Anyways, so Amanda, speaking of our guest, what's
Women's
going on in the
hockey.
world of women's hockey?
Yeah, so I just last weekend we were in Nashville for the NWHL All-Star Weekend, which was very, very, very cool. We saw a lot of awesome women doing awesome things, and I mean, what a treat for women in hockey. And I mean, the game itself brought in over 6,000 people for fans, and that's phenomenal. It's record breaking.
Well,
And-
let's just not talk about the game. Let's break down your whole weekend.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, I
you
was
did
getting there.
so much. You did so much that weekend with women's hockey, not only with the NWHL. First off, we follow on our official Twitter, Redvolution Rampage. We followed you the whole trip, retweeting almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we saw was you had a private ice skating event in Bridgestone Arena with Black Girls Hockey.
Yeah, well, the Black Girl Hockey Club got together, and the Color of Hockey blog kind of partnered, I guess, the weekend. But the first thing we got to do was to skate on the Bridgestone ice, which was really neat. And then we did a private...
So Bridgestone ice versus PNC ice, which is better?
No comment. No comment. No
Well,
comment.
you've been on the ice in both arenas.
I've been on the
Which
ice,
one
but
looks
I
bigger?
don't know. I mean, the Bridgestone in itself is just huge, and it's very modern, and it's very fancy, and I think
Well,
I
that's
think
the Nashville
PNC
style
could
for
really
you.
to take some pointers, but
Imagine that building 2 years ago when the Stanley Cup was in there. How much would have you
Wow, yeah.
would you've been afraid of that Nashville crowd on that ice?
that would have been something.
Throwing fish all over the place. Yeah.
We need to do something. What would the Canes throw if we made the Stanley Cup?
I have no
Hats
idea.
for the hat trick.
Yes. So and
we
then
would
we
throw
got
pork. We would get a rack of ribs.
pork.
That would what
I'd
do
see
you
that. A
think
big
that would
ham
do to
hock,
Stormy? That would like you just threw one of his
Poor
relatives.
Stormy.
He's not even like a
Well,
pork.
look at Detroit. Their official mascot is an octopus, and they still do that.
Yeah, well they're monsters.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, back to your weekend. So you had a lot of fun.
So yeah, and then we did a screening of Soul on Ice, and the director actually Kwame Mason was there. And then after the viewing, they did a Q&A with him and the gentleman that does the Color of Hockey blog, and Renee Hess, who is the founder, starter, lead lady for Black Girl Hockey. So that Q&A was nice. That was pretty cool. The Bridgestone Arena was super accommodating to the whole group. They let us skate on the ice. They did the screening. They gave us a room for the Q&A, and it was very, very cool. After that, we went over to the Ford Ice Center, which is the practice rink for the Predators, and they did the skills challenge. And they broadcasted that online, and they had 500,000 viewers, which was very, very cool. And they sold out the Ford Ice Center for the skills challenge.
Yeah, that's only like, it only sits like 8,000.
I'm not sure, but
and I think they sold that out. And
they
I think
sold it out.
They could have gotten more people to come see that at Bridgestone.
Absolutely.
It's still amazing how much people were watching it on Twitter. The amount, if you look at an average game for the NWHL, they maybe get at peak of one of those broadcasts, they might have 4,000 or 5,000 people. Mm-hmm. When you have 500,000, that's a huge jump.
That's crazy.
And I was one of them.
Yeah.
I saw you on it.
Did you?
Multiple times, actually.
Women's hockey is growing, and I'll say it now, I'll say it again later. It's got its own flavor, right, of hockey. It's its own flavor of sports. It's one of the few sports out there where the men and women can play together, and the women can outshine the men in some spaces. And
well, that
who was
happens
the
at
female
the
goalie who took practice with the Predators?
Oh, I believe that was Bryant. Oh gosh, I'm so bad with names, but that was very cool of her.
Right, and the coach after the practice said that he was impressed. Like he she played as well as and she's only like 5'7" or something. She's
small goalie, still flexible, man.
Right, and it just shows that there's a lot of misconceptions about this sport that the women are blown all out of the water.
Yeah. I mean, the Blake Bolden, who plays with the Buffalo Beauty, she won the hardest hardest shot competition. It was over 80 miles an hour, which is really neat.
It's impressive.
It was very impressive.
A lot of broken sticks on it, though.
But it was pretty cool, and we got to meet Blake Bolden. She came over and talked to us. They had set aside a section for the Black Girl Hockey Club for us to sit in. And she came over and did a little meet and greet, which was very cool. And Rayla got to stand there and give all the fist bumps from all the players coming off the ice.
That's really cool.
Which was neat. And we got to talk to Alyssa, our local lady, which was awesome too. And that was pretty much it for that day. And then the next day, we started the day out. We went there's the mobile Black History truck that shows like the timeline and things like that, and hopefully that'll be coming to this area soon.
Tell me you went somewhere to enjoy some music.
We didn't, not really.
Come on.
Our days were really hockey booked. They were very booked.
Hockey booked, that is a word, ladies and gentlemen.
It is now. Our days were so full, and it was just me and my girls, so I just couldn't see dragging them to a bar, and I'm just like, I don't really know what else to do in Nashville other than go see live music, but I can't see dragging two girls to a bar. And we were just exhausted by the end of the day.
Or Elvis.
Yeah, well, that's Memphis more, isn't it?
It's somewhere there. It's somewhere in Tennessee.
Yeah, the studio is down there. Me and Kristen went and saw that.
Either way, it was still...
It was very cool, and we went to the Predators game. Unfortunately, they lost, but that's okay.
It was on national TV too.
Who was we? Whoa, who's we?
I said they. I said they.
Here's the funny thing, though. It was on national television. It was the St. Louis Blues versus the Nashville Predators. The Blues won in overtime. Guess who was calling the game?
Who's that?
John Forsland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
John Forsland's been going to town with these national broadcasts.
I honestly think they're trying to incorporate him as the NBC guy now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so much better than the other guys.
Put him in the video game.
For real.
That would be cool.
I mean, you have it over there signed.
Hey, what do you say?
So we did a meet and greet with some of the players after that. We did meet PK Subban, which was really cool. And I know
the hat of him too. The hat showed up.
the hat, yeah, and he smelled really good. But
TMI.
I'm sorry.
Tell me you weren't drooling.
I was not. No, he's, I know everybody kind of poo-poos on him. He's just like, and on the ice, yeah, he's a bit of a turd. But on a personal level, he's such a good guy. And
he's a great guy. He's great for the sport.
I mean, look what he did with his girlfriend immediately after that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the goat thing.
Yeah.
You guys haven't
Lindsey
seen that?
Vonn.
Look it up. He made it like a goat cake and had like goats all over the house. And she's like the greatest
But then
winter sports player.
we also met some other players and Pekka Rinne. We got a picture with him too. And
Did you get to meet Laviolette again?
No.
Oh man.
But I did slip him a Revolution Rampage sticker, so that was pretty cool.
PK, if you're listening to us right now, Amanda did call you a turd on the ice.
You're only a
But I still like you.
You're only a turd when you play the Hurricanes.
That's
We,
right.
we love you every other time, just when
I'm
you play
trying
the
to keep it
Hurricanes.
PG.
We love you any other time when you're not playing the Hurricanes, but when you're the Hurricanes, you are the enemy.
Yeah.
It's all right. We actually I really like PCAS. I liked his show after the All-Star game. I think I wish more players were like him. They would come out of their shells and be really, really energetic with the media and the people and the fans.
And the
really
stuff he
get to
does
join
with
us.
charity is so great. The Children's Hospital, and and I actually brought him a RPD patch because he does a Blue Line Buddies with the Nashville PD, where he kind of mentors. Matches kids up with officers and mentors them. So I thought that was really cool. And then after that was the All-Star game, and Team Zabados ended up winning. And
Team Zabados. That sounds like a Pokemon. But go on.
in
Zabados, I choose
overtime
you.
shootout. And Shannon Zabados actually got MVP player. So
Woot, woot.
all in all, it was a super fun weekend. And it was very good. And I'm looking forward to the games starting back up again next weekend.
Have they announced where they're doing it next year?
No, not yet.
Hey,
No.
come to Raleigh. Come
that
on.
would be cool. That would be cool.
We don't. If you come to Raleigh, we promise we'll give you a team.
Well, we can't promise that.
No.
We will ask Dundon.
I think a lot of times the teams will reach out to the NWHL, invite them. So, but I'm not sure of that. But
Come
So
on,
Tom
Tom.
Dundon or Don Waddell or any of the Hurricanes organization listening to us, because I know you listen to us, reach out to the NWHL. Give them an opportunity to show Raleigh how awesome their league is and help grow the sport here. Speaking of growing female hockey in North Carolina, let's move on to our guest.
we have a special guest, Miss Michelle Bench. I'm saying it right. Okay, good.
Hi, Michelle.
New friends.
So I hooked up with Michelle via Twitter. Her and her daughters play hockey here, and I wanted to bring her on to talk about women's hockey in North Carolina. There is such a thing as a women's league here, so I wanted to bring special attention to that. So how are you, Michelle?
Good. How are you?
Good. Tell us about the league that's here.
We started to go about 25 years back at Dorton Arena in Raleigh. A lot of volunteers got together and started a women's organization. They were a very small team. For a number of years, we only had 15 to 20 women at a time, which enabled us to have one team. We traveled around the state. There were teams then in Fayetteville, Greensboro, and Charlotte. We played them regularly. We traveled out of state to Florida, D.C. area, and all those places to play other women's teams. But we got tired of that, and the recession kind of hit the other teams as well. And so a lot of the area teams, especially the one in Fayetteville, folded. There's not a regular playing team in Greensboro or Charlotte right now either. So we had to kind of recruit women around the Raleigh area to play ourselves. And that kind of grew into a league. So it started out, 2 teams doing a scrimmage. So now we have 74 women in 6 teams.
Wow, and they all play here in Raleigh.
We play every Sunday night at the Cary Ice House. We have 3 games a night starting at 7:15.
And has there been any push or development in regaining some of these women's teams that were in Fayetteville, Greensboro, etc.?
Not that I know of. Fayetteville was hit really hard by deployments, so there hasn't been a whole lot of thing there, and there's constantly battles over ice at Cleveland Ice Arena there. So it's really hard to start up a women's team. Then we have a lot of women from that area who drive up here to play.
Okay.
And obviously you played in historic Dorton Arena, which actually held the first hockey team that North Carolina ever knew. I believe it was the Capital Icebreakers.
Ice Caps.
Ice Caps. The original hockey team.
You still see some of those
So
jerseys around
how was
PNC.
it oh, they do? Oh, that's
You'll
great.
see some people wearing Ice Caps jerseys around PNC sometimes. That's how you know they're
There-
throwbacks.
There's that hockey history for you. So how was it going from Dorton Arena at the time to the Raleigh Ice House, where you could say that one's a full-fledged arena and the other one is an up-and-comer?
Well, the best part of Cary is it was significantly cheaper than renting the ice at Dorton. Dorton was seasonal. They would shut it down. When we started going to Cary, it gave us the opportunity to go year-round. We don't ever stop. Hockey season is always going on for the women in our organization.
And what is the name?
The North Carolina Trailblazers.
Awesome.
Good name.
So you said it's 6 teams there. It's all Trailblazers and it's cut up by color or something.
Yeah. We divide each other by color because we didn't want the controversy of picking new colors or jerseys every year and the cost associated with that. So we divided each other up by colors. And if we added a 6 team this season, and we said, okay, you're white. Everybody has a white jersey. Nobody's going to be out $20, and they can go play and be on white.
So that's very smart that it takes the economics into it, especially a sport that's as expensive as hockey. Jerseys and stuff like that are not exactly cheap.
Right. We are a 501c3 charity, but we have no sponsors right now. So everything's, we take what we owe and we split it up.
We're open
So
for promotions.
for people listening to the podcast, that means if you want to sponsor women's hockey in North Carolina, here's your first great step.
Yeah.
Well, how great is it that there's so much women talent locally that you can have 6 teams? That's pretty neat. And what are the age ranges?
We range from age, 14 to 63 right now.
Cool. That's great.
We have the median age of our team is 42. So we are an aging
That's a good one right
population.
there.
Yeah, that's great.
That's actually pretty fun to see the different age range. To say a mother and daughter could play on the same team. That's something really interesting you can think of.
We have had 8 mother-daughter pairs in the past. My girls will be old enough next year to play with me, should I so choose.
Nice.
And it's been very nice. Everyone says it's always been a positive experience to get to play with their daughter.
That is very cool.
Usually the daughter does have a higher skill level than the mom, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you want, though. I mean, you want your kids to be better than you.
Of
That's
course.
kind of
Yeah.
parenting 101.
I'm a little conflicted, though, because one of my daughters is a goalie, and I'm also a goalie, so it's like, ooh, we're not going to be against each other. Like, seriously.
boy.
Dun,
Usually
dun.
the mother-daughters are on the same team, so I'm not sure how we'll work
Oh,
this
that would
out.
be fun.
Speaking of teams, so when are teams decided? At the beginning of the season? Or can is whoever shows up and we split them up?
We take a sign up, and we have designated captains who are familiar with the organization. If you're new, we'll ask you to fill out this fairly long questionnaire about your skill level. We'll talk to you, see if you've played college or club hockey. Those are usually requirements where we put you in the skilled bin. If you're in that, or if you say, I just graduated from Learn to Play, you go in this other bin. And then get together, and they have pizza, and they hammer it all out and do a draft with the caveat that we could change this in 3 weeks if one team's lopsided.
Okay, so that's pretty smart. It's
We
pretty-
try and keep them all very even. We try and take into account roommates and driving from Durham together so that not everybody's using gas. We try and take all those things into account.
It really just about keeping the costs of the sport down.
Yes.
Again, hockey's not a cheap sport to play.
No.
Equipment and everything.
Yeah, there's one
It
whole
takes
team we
money.
call the carpool because they all come from Durham together, and so we try and keep them together.
Well done. Well
the
done.
Just-
carpool.
That's such a female thing to do. It's so awesome.
But it's tough if they're running late because you're like, oh my gosh, they're not
The
here
whole
yet.
team's
Are we
not
gonna
here
have
Can't start.
Till the
It's
carpool's
so
here.
cool. And people are welcome to come and watch.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody's welcome to come and watch. I'm
So
always
fun.
surprised when we have fans and we'll be like,
Yeah.
who do they belong to? Or
All right.
somebody's significant other, grandparent, parent. But
No, I
So
think that would
any
be great.
hockey is great hockey, and
Yes.
especially since you guys do play year round. Hey, it's free to go in and watch.
yep, free to go in.
So I'm assuming everyone should be clamoring in there to watch some great female hockey. And the thing is, like, female hockey has its own flavor outside of men's
It
hockey.
It does.
And I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching the Olympic Games. I really enjoy watching the All-Star Games. For women's, I try to catch the women's game on Twitter from time to time from the NWHL. It's different flavor, people. So if you do want to watch some women play excellent hockey, you should come and do that.
Speaking of the Olympic team, especially since the women's U.S. and Canada are playing their current series with multiple Olympic players within the Raleigh area from multiple different countries included, how much has that exposure for women's hockey really affected your league?
A lot. And ours even started way back in 98 with Nagano. A lot of our original members came from that crowd watching it on TV. One of our older players, she actually got to go cover the Olympics in Nagano and women's hockey back then. And that's what made her get interested and start, hey, I want to do that too. So this year, again, we've had another membership explosion and people wanting to come out. Lots of parents of the girls that I coach on my youth team, they have started taking learn to play and learn to skate lessons with the hope that they could do that too.
Me.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely you.
Yeah.
Hockey is for everyone. And again,
Yeah.
we're rolling into the Hockey is for Everyone months here between February and March.
Yeah.
I prefer to say March is the Hockey is for Everyone, and leave February for Black History Month.
I believe the Canes have already participated in 3 Hockey is for Everyone games, but they haven't
Yes.
hosted theirs yet.
Yeah, so ours is in March, and that is
It's a Sunday night, and I'm kind of disappointed in that because
too.
our whole organization would love to come, but we have our games. So we're going to go play our game, and best of luck to the Canes.
Yeah. Oh, but those who are interested, yeah. So Hockey is for Everyone month game is in March.
With the opening of the weight competition center in Mooresville, do you see possibly having more teams out in that location, or at least
I will
seeing-
take all the ice I can get. Especially, that is a good location. Again, we have people come from as far away as High Point. That would shorten their drive. We have people come from Fayetteville. That would lengthen their drive a little bit. But I think the Mooresville location is very central and could be agreed upon by everyone.
So here's a question. Where do you see this organization growing to in the next 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years? Let's go with that.
Now, I guarantee you the people who started it 20 years ago wouldn't even imagine that it still exists 20 years later. I'd like to see us grow to have different levels. I'd like to see us have more involvement in youth sports. I mean, there are 5 of us, I think, I polled, who volunteer with youth sports in the area and Triangle Special Hockey every week. So I'd like to see that continue. And again, I'd like to have a travel team again, kind of like the Lady Hurricanes and the Aces have been doing this year. We can certainly support that again, that kind of program.
Yeah.
And grow more women coaches. I forgot that part.
Right.
Definitely no.
You might have a volunteer right here.
We'll
It's
see.
hard. I was telling her before. It is hard, and I'm working
any
with
coaching is hard. It's just you got to learn the game, and you got to get the people invested in doing that.
Yes.
But one thing that a lot of people have been saying recently, especially with the more recent growth of the NWHL, especially after exposure they got in Nashville, is a lot of people are thinking that the Hurricanes should expand into the NWHL with a sponsorship team. What would your reaction be to that?
That would be awesome. It would be totally great. You have some local talent who I'm sure would love not to fly out of state every weekend.
Yeah.
There are women here who've played college in the past who've given that up because they thought there was nothing else. And I know there's probably some people who live up north who'd like to live someplace else with a better cost of living
That is
and
true.
continue to be able to play.
I mean, because the women that are from here, i.e., Alyssa Gallardi and Colleen Murphy. Colleen was flying to Buffalo when she was playing for Buffalo, and it's so hard for women in this area. There's so much talent here, and all of the teams are in the Northeast. So they either have to fly or they have to go to school up there, or they have to get jobs up there because obviously it doesn't pay enough for them to live primarily off of the sport. So they've got to kind of go where they go, and I would love to see a women's team down here where they can not have to go so far.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, when you say women's team, that they're expecting, arenas full of people, but you can still pack a facility with people. You can still sell lots of merchandise. It doesn't have to be the scale that the Hurricanes are. It can be.
No, and that scale belongs where it is, right? Mm-hmm. But I would like to see that for like an NWHL team, right? Yeah. However, for just like you wouldn't expect a 16,000 people in attendance for an AHL game. That's just not reasonable for that. Or an ECHL. Like there needs to be smaller arenas built for the purpose of that sort of thing. Crown Coliseum is a great example of a place that might be able to accommodate small numbers like that. But there should also be opportunity
the
for
Winston-Salem Annex.
Yeah. There's that too. But there should be opportunities for newer arenas or ice houses. Let's call them ice houses, right? Being built for these sort of purposes that would allow and encourage for even more people to join hockey as a sport and try it out and grow the sport in the state.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of fabulous facilities for that. Buffalo's is excellent. We got to see the Buttes play there. We got to skate on the same ice.
That's cool.
The Trailblazers do occasionally travel, and we've played out in Denver the last 2 years at a place called the Sports Stable, which has 3 rinks, and one of them is arena style, similar to the one the Buttes play in Buffalo.
Neat.
And that could definitely be supported here, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that this new place in Morrisville will have seating, basically.
It will. It will. I have actually asked them through Facebook, and they said, depending on the rank you're in, it'll range between 1,000 and 3,100.
That would be great. That would be great.
And
because there's really nowhere to sit.
Seating, standing, everything.
It'll definitely support that kind of team, and wherever the college club teams need to take it.
And that's one thing that a lot of people haven't really noticed is with the growth of college hockey in North Carolina, not only has the men's teams started to get a lot more popular, but a lot more women's teams are starting to pop up, especially in North Carolina, South Carolina. With that happening, do you see yourself more reaching out to these club teams and being like, hey, it's not over after college?
We have done that before. NC State had a club team in the early 2000s. A lot of those players played with us and vice versa. And I definitely think, we're open to that. Again, we need more ice so that we can have that advanced league to make those advanced people happy, as well as our goal is to grow hockey, which means we accept beginners, people who have done learn to play, and we want to make space for everyone. We just need more space.
Just more tiers, more space for the more tiers to grow.
Yeah, there's lots of advanced players who love to help out new people and, pass to you, and we cheer when you get a goal and all those things, but there are nights you just need to let loose.
Yeah, you just want to play.
You just want to play. You want to do the slap
ice.
shots. We have a woman this year who moved here from Minnesota. She was the girls' Minnesota slap shot champion.
Wow.
And she has broken shin pads.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
She's
We've
the
talked
female
about
version of Zdeno Chara.
outlawing slap shots because of her. Right now, we're still allowing them, but it's on the fence because it is dangerous, and there are some smaller and slower people on the ice, so we need to be cognizant of that.
But if you had tiers, more players, and more slap shot champions showing up.
Yes, I have a lot of people I know who played Division III who still live in the area and are like, let me know when you have advanced league, and then I will play. Until then, I will not.
So basically what you're saying is by growing the sport and having more tiers, it attracts more players.
Yes, it absolutely will.
Getting real DJ vu here. But I feel like a lot of this comes to say, grow it and they will come. And I think that's a great thing for this sport of hockey, by the way. So...
Wow, it sounds like a little Field of Dreams there. Build it and they will come.
I mean, that's
something
basically
along
the thing.
lines.
Yeah.
And that building and that growth comes by sponsorship. It's not cheap.
And exposure. I mean, and that's one of the reasons
Definitely.
why I wanted to do this, just to get the exposure and
Yep,
let
we're
people
here.
know
75 of us play every Sunday night.
every night. Every Sunday night, they're there.
So
And
here's
they
an
would play more
opportunity.
nights if we could get it. But we're here every Sunday night.
Yeah. And
here's
these women are so talented. And they deserve the look. They deserve the attention. And I want to bring it out there.
Well, we're more than happy to have that exposure on this podcast. I mean, Amanda's been bringing it every week she's been with us. And getting that exposure at the NWHL All-Star Game definitely helps our cause, and with our future exposure for you, as we will continually cover you guys, it'll hopefully grow it more with you as well.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Well, thank you for coming and joining us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, especially since you guys are all playing tomorrow night. So I'm pretty sure you got work to do. And
Yep, I got the
things
late
to prepare.
game. I haven't played in a few weeks, so I'm a little rusty.
Make sure you stretch.
Okay, so tell us again the date, the time, the location.
Every single Sunday night at the Cary Ice House, starting at 7:15. Games finish up around 10:45, I think, is our current schedule. So
And it's 3 games, right?
Yep, 3 games.
3 games.
All the colors.
Pick a color, root for your team.
Yes. Choose your favorite color. I'd be like,
I am on
team
the goalies rotate, so I don't get assigned a team. So I am teal tomorrow night. So
teal.
I am
So
on
what
team
are
teal.
the colors?
The colors are red, black, white, purple, teal, and yellow.
Okay, so there you go, people. Pick
teal
your favorite
really
color.
want to be different. We were
I'll
going
take
primaries, and they're like, no.
I'm putting money on yellow.
All right, there we go. Thank you so much for joining us again. Hopefully we can have you back on here again. You can tell us how much the sport has grown.
Sure, that would be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. How awesome was Michelle Bench?
Oh, that was
She
awesome.
great. I appreciate her coming.
We need more guests. This is the second episode in a row we've had a guest, so it needs to become a trend.
I like it. It gives give us a little bit more interaction with people and gives listeners, you guys, a little bit more than just us droning on and on and on.
As lovely as our voices are, you probably want to hear other people too.
Oh, trust us. We could change our voices if we wanted to. I know Omar can.
Yes, I can.
All right, let's move on to the future here. Right now, we've talked about the past and everything, and we kind of close out with Amanda talking about the future. So, what about the
bright
future
future.
of the Carolina Hurricanes? Because tonight they taking on the Stars, and if they win, because again, as of right now, as of this recording,
Pittsburgh lost.
Pittsburgh lost. That means if they win, we can take their playoff spot. You know what it also means, though? If Columbus loses to the Blackhawks and we beat the Dallas Stars, it means that we can be in the third spot. I don't know why I'm talking about
Third.
I don't know what's going on.
in the third
third.
spot of the Metro Division. Third.
That's cool.
When was the last time we were even in the top of the division?
Well, when we started the season.
That's my point. Like, the last time was probably, November?
No, I think we dropped out by the end of October because after we went on that winning streak, we went on a straight losing streak afterwards.
Yeah. So, it's been a while, but, hey, we'll take it. But, so, if Cam Ward, if you're starting tonight against the Blue Jackets, do us a favor. Please win.
I'm not sure who's starting tonight.
If it is Cam Ward. Cam actually has been doing pretty good in Chicago. He's 12. I think he's like 12, 8, and 4.
Has he?
He's 12, 8, and 4.
Hey, he's throwing Skinner for a great stop.
I mean, statistically, he's actually been a better goalie than Crawford.
So I mean, he's 12-8-0, and Crawford's 6-14-0.
Oh my.
Cam Ward's rolling with an 8.98 save percentage, which is the worst on the team. He's also got a 3.6 goal against average. Again, worst on the team. But for some reason,
Still in the playoff hunt.
he's they're still in the playoff hunt because the West is a rolling garbage can on fire.
We need to turn that into a meme.
There he is.
Yeah.
But for real, I'm not sure who's starting. It might be Crawford. It might be.
Please just win. We don't care. Just win.
Yeah, and then but here's the thing: we can wish. You guys have seen our daily Canes playoff watch. This is all great, but if the Canes don't continue winning the way they are, it's not really going to do us any favors. So we gotta take care of business at home tonight against Dallas, and then Tuesday again to win the season against the New York Rangers.
And then we got to go to Sunshine State. We get to go to Florida, take on Barkov.
Warm weather finally.
It's the Battle of the Fins.
It is the Battle of the Fins. I think we got
Aho
the better
versus
Fins.
Barkov.
Yeah, but it's not. Is it really even the conversation at this point? Which is the better Fin?
Jaws.
I think it's Aho. Come on.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Aho's probably one of the best Finnish players to come out of Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finland.
The best one is
Later
Timu.
to come out of Finland.
Best one is Timu. Solani. I'm sorry, but Solani is the best Finn to ever play.
For
in the
now.
NHL.
For now.
Let's see what we got. After that, we go to Dallas. So another
Right.
Sunshine game. 5 o'clock start. Weird time.
Well, it is in Dallas, which is an hour behind us, so it's like really a 4 o'clock start
That's weird.
guess.
for them. I mean,
Weird.
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
That
right,
is an
and
odd
then we
time.
got the Kings.
Yeah,
The
so we come
Kings
back
who have-
home for 2 games straight. One against the Kings, which again we need to give them payback for shutting us out earlier this year.
And then your secondary team, basically, the Blues.
Right, and I'm actually going to be there to that game with my father-in-law at least. So we'll see how that goes.
And then, wait, we have at the Panthers again.
Yes. So
Oh my gosh, we
we've
have to go to the Sunshine State twice.
right, and then comes the second Whalers game.
Okay.
So on the 5th of March is the Whalers game, but before that,
That's Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
right, but before that is on Sunday is the alumni game. I think that should be awesome to go watch and see.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Wear Whaler stuff.
To the alumni game?
Maybe.
Okay.
Nah, you can if you want to.
Do you know what
a
the
lot of people pay.
time is on that one?
I think it's the doors open at 1:30.
Oh,
It's free.
It is free parking, free attendance.
They
went
sometimes
last
do
year.
random giveaways at those games too. So
They say it's going to be a regular Hurricanes game experience. So
random giveaways.
yeah, that's cool.
Let's see who we got. We got the 8th. We are home against Winnipeg. So another former Canes coach comes in with Paul Maurice.
I think that's a winnable game because the Jets have been coming. They when we needed them to win, they haven't. We've got so many games against Western teams coming up.
Yeah, because
And
the very
again-
next day it's at Nashville.
right? And I think what the West, which is a huge garbage truck on fire flipping down a mountainside.
Except for like the top 4 teams.
We'll see. Because after that we got Colorado. I mean, these are so winnable
At
games.
Colorado, at Columbus.
All right, so once we start going to Columbus, that's when things can get serious again, right?
And this is after the trade deadline,
'cause
too,
Yeah,
so.
the 3 games after that is Columbus, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. These are the 3 teams that we're really, really trying to beat. And then after that is Tampa Bay, which might be our first round playoff game matchup. We get to really get a sense whether or not
we
we're
did
going to
really well with them the first game.
We did. Now we. This is the second game. We need the third game because we lost the very first game in October, and even that one was a close game. So we've been close with them, but can we close shop? Right? Can we actually win the game now if the game is here at home?
Yeah,
Then that might be
the
the
whole
make or break of the playoffs.
The key stretch in
Right.
my mind is the very last week of March, where we have at Washington, home versus Washington 2 days later, home versus Philly 2 days later on Saturday, and then the next day, Sunday, we're in Pittsburgh. That is going to be the make it or break it week. If we are still in a dog hunt at that point, that week will make or break it.
Yeah, we've never been this far and deep in the hunt in February.
Like
So
best
with
case scenario, I hope is before that week we are at least 4 points clear. That's my best case scenario.
That would be good.
It'll be nice. We'll see. It's all in the future. Looking forward to another storm surge tonight. A couple more storm surges before the month of February is over.
We still got one fun event left in February too.
What's that?
We got Godzilla Night in with the Red Eye Rowdies down in Charlotte.
That is true. Yeah.
Tickets are still available, I believe.
Yeah, I think KP needs to close it out soon, though. So
Yeah, if you don't get it through the Rowdies, just get a ticket through Charlotte, show up, and we'll still love you.
yeah, it's gonna be Godzilla Night, which is an amazing concept to have.
What night is that?
23rd.
23rd of February.
Come out to Charlotte and have some fun with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
What about what's the
Revolution
future
Rampage on the road.
What's first future for women's hockey there, Amanda?
They've got some games coming up here soon. The playoffs, their season ends early March, and then they'll have the playoffs. They haven't announced where they are right now. Right now, the standings are the Whitecaps are at 20 points. The Buttes are behind them, tied with the Pride at 18. The Rivs and the Whale are tied at 6.
How's their playoff structure work?
Well, everybody plays right
Okay.
now. Before it was only 4 teams. Everybody played. It was one game. Take it or winner takes all. Now that they've got 5 teams, they're still going to do everybody plays. As far as I know, they're doing
Somebody
one
gets a
round.
bye week.
Not really sure. I'm not
I mean,
really
someone
sure how
has to take a bye week technically, or a bye game, or because it's two on two, and then
Yeah, true.
the lower end has to play a second round.
Yeah, they haven't really been real open about how it's going to go. The NWHL has a bad rep as far as being transparent. So
Don't keep us in the dark, people. Come on.
hopefully we'll see what happens. As far as I know, everybody's going to be in it, and it's one game series. So we'll see.
Well, it'll be one of those things where we figure it out as it goes, and
Yeah,
we'll see how
when I find out more, I'll definitely be more open about it.
All right. I think that's it for us today. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Michelle Bench. Looking forward to more Kane Storm surges, especially ones that knock it out of the park like last night's.
Let's get some curling in
Yeah,
there.
still going with that, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Still
Definitely.
rolling with that.
Let's get some other sports. Let's try basketball, some curling.
I can see curling where someone kind of just like
Football.
pushes a puck down the ice,
Yeah.
and the other ones with their sticks just to like scrape the ice.
That would be a good storm surge. I'd like to see that.
Line up in a football formation. Go.
There you go.
Hyper.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, any Canes players listening, the curling one. There's the idea right
There's
there.
an
Somebody,
idea.
you can set up 2 lanes, and one person pushes a puck down the ice, and the other one kind of scrape the ice with their sticks.
That would be funny. I'd like to
Resist the
see that.
wind. Pretend like wind's coming toward your face and just be like, ah.
Now, that might be hard to do on the ice and end up like falling on your face and getting hurt. No, thank you.
Maybe.
Oh, dog sled.
Ooh,
Ooh, you can go
Yeah,
full
yeah.
Jamaican.
bobsled.
That's dog sled. I said dog sled.
Oh, dog sled.
You could easily do dog sled with the
Why not
the
both?
sticks. Yeah.
Both.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're giving you
Yeah.
golden ideas, people.
All right, so this has been Redvolution Rampage. I'm Omar,
I'm Zach.
Amanda.
and we'll leave you with this.